Okay, so on to the next track / performance in Sonia's Anthem series, man. This over here is David Bowie, Space Oddity. I thought it was Odyssey. Anyway, this is David Robert Jones. So there's a message from Sonia. David Robert Jones, known professionally as David Bowie, was an English singer, songwriter, musician, and actor. I think we've reacted to one or two, no, maybe one, of David Bowie's songs. I don't know much about his discography at all. I know he's quite an eclectic figure. As much as that I know, but other than that, I don't know much. Let's rock and roll. Let's see what we got. Space Oddity, 1972. It's starting, it's just building up. Well, I think it's just building up.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Hey! I think I know this song, Ground Control. Obviously, I don't have this on my playlist, and I haven't heard this in yonks, literal yonks. But I mean, this was even in movies, even in Friends. Joey was like singing in the cab, Ground Control to Major Tom. Come on.
Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Check ignition and may God's love be with you.
Check your transmission and may God's love be with you. I mean, this over here, it says 1972. That's when it was produced. I think that was literally straight after the whole massive space race, essentially, to go to the moon in the United States. So actually writing a song based on that. I'm not entirely sure if it's literally about, call it about an astronaut that's going out to space, or if it's a metaphor for something else. But let's carry on.
With you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare.
See, that over there could almost be a fucking bar. It's time to leave a capsule if you dare, essentially. So it's almost like maybe, so the capsule, obviously the space capsule if you dare, but then why would you dare? I mean, I guess at that time it could be fucking dangerous. It was kind of in the middle of the space race as well. Well, it started at the end of the 60s, I think, or it was kind of in the 60s, but when was the film? You know, we're not going to go into the history of the fucking thing. 60s, 70s is literally when there was a whole sort of race to the moon, essentially. But using that as possible metaphor for, let's say, addiction to a certain degree, or like, let's say, like drugs, essentially. Time to leave the capsule if you dare. Leave the actual drug capsules if you dare. Maybe it's about drugs, drug abuse. I don't know. Maybe.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very...
I'm stepping. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping in the dark and I'm floating in the most peculiar way. Come on, bruh. That's a metaphor for sure. That's a fucking metaphor, right? That is fire. So he's literally looking to be saved. He's looking for ground again, right? He feels like he's just floating out into the abyss and he can't control himself. You know what I mean? Come on, bruh. It's gotta be. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I look too deeply into these songs. There could be just a simpler meaning to this. I don't know.
And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can,
Isolated.
far above the world.
Alone and high.
Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do.
The planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do. I'm literally in the dark, right? So I'm sitting alone. I'm sitting in a capsule, right? And he's high. So think about being high in space, high in the sky, high in the, above the earth, but also being high in terms of drug high. I don't know. For some odd reason, this is laced, excuse the pun, with sort of drug type metaphors. Hey.
I'm past 100,000 miles. I'm feeling very scared, and I think my spaceship knows.
Because it's supposed to be euphoric, right? But it kind of feels he's fearful of it because he kind of feels like he's lost control. He has no control, very much like like an astronaut sitting in, I don't know, the fucking ISS space station, whatever it is, right? And you got no control. Someone doesn't come and get you. Well, then you just stay there and die there, essentially. And that kind of can be equated to drug abuse as well, right? Where in the middle of the euphoria, right, there is this space of lucidity where you are scared and panicked that this is going too far and you're sort of alone out there in the abyss, and if someone doesn't come and save you, it's basically your demise. Do you know what I mean? So, very cool.
And I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows. Ground control to Major Tom. Your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom?
Love that. Your circuit's dead, there's something wrong, right? And that's obviously something wrong mentally. Come on, bro, fire. Talking about circuitry in your brain. Come on, bro, fire.
Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom?
So it's a cry for help. To a certain degree.
Here am I floating on my tin can. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
I like that part over there with the guitar because that's kind of like it gives it a bit more of like an upbeat type sound, essentially, where it kind of speaks to these moments of joy, right, in the high, right, and the excitement, essentially, and then it goes back into the more somber sort of cry for help. I don't know. I think that's just what I'm getting from this. I like the whole fucking radio waves in terms of trying to communicate with somebody, playing that into the video, and then also that having like very, very high frequency, sort of like short radio waves as well, which kind of can sort of double up with regards to like a heart rate, essentially. Like your heart rate's very high, you're on drugs, so obviously everything is elevated, and it could be that as well, but very cool. He is a super interesting, super intriguing artist, this David Bowie. That's what I remember from our last reaction that we did to him as well. I can't remember what it was. I think there was only one other one. We haven't gone down any of his discography, but right, this one we know obviously is a classic. You've heard this somewhere. Everyone's heard this somewhere, right? But in terms of like a deep dive into the lyrics, we haven't done. So for me, it could literally just be about an astronaut, or it could just be a metaphor for a cry for help because of a drug addiction. That's at least my take. You guys let me know what you think down below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.